Hi, happy Friday, as I like to put it. I wanted to briefly talk about the topic of trust, because trust is an integral part of the spiritual path. It's an integral part of all of our lives, learning how to trust instead of always relying on our own lower ego brain that thinks it has to know everything in advance and has to feel safe for survival purposes. And having an ego in this world is it is necessary in order to survive. But as we evolve, and we are a species, we have animal bodies. We're humans, but we are a species. As we evolve, we learn how to step more and more out of that primitive fight or flight mentality mode and step more into the spiritual aspects of trust and connection with spirit, connection with our higher selves, with God. We learn how to be more like that. And that is, it's a slow process, because that primitive part of us is still so attached to our body and to our system and to our mind. But on the spiritual path, we cannot use that as an excuse to just react to everything and to stay in fear all the time. And I get it, life is scary. But my point is that I was talking to an old college friend. He's so precious. I was talking to an old college friend a little bit earlier this morning, and he was saying how I should just take it one day at a time. And it's so funny, because that is literally what I've said to so many other people that have had a hard time, especially recently over the past couple of years, because I went through a lot of my own stuff. And so I have cultivated and learned that it is 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. And so I feel like if we can just learn how to do that more and more and more, to stay conscious, to stay the witness of what is going on in our lives, and to not react emotionally to just everything and anything, to not panic, to stay as much as we can out of that primitive mindset. And the biggest key, and I made another video about this, the biggest key, the biggest tool that you can use to stay out of that lower primitive ego brain, I call it monkey brain, but it's more than that. It's fight or flight. It's like, it's the opposite of trust and faith and stepping into your power and manifesting everything that you want to manifest in your life, and really taking charge of the fact that you are a God, an offshoot of God, that you are a powerful being that's not just an ordinary human like you think you are. That's really, being the witness is going to really help you to step back from that lower ego mentality, that the fight or flight, the fearful anxiety. Because I know I deal with anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety most of my life, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially if you've had a lot of traumatic things happen to you. It's almost like it's a default emotion that just develops in you over time, and sometimes it can feel more intense than others. I know I have my days where the anxiety is worse or whatever, but that's when I have to use that tool. One of the tools, at least. I have a lot of tools, but one of the tools that I use is to step back and be the witness. I actually had an episode not too long ago. It was like maybe a few days ago, a week ago, where I felt so overwhelmed by anxiety that I just had to lay in bed for like an extra 45 minutes and just digest it. And I don't know what triggered it. I really can't pinpoint it, but sometimes it just overtakes me, you know? And instead of letting my monkey brain take over and think of all the things that could happen or all the things that have happened, or, you know, letting my brain just go wild, I calmed it, I stayed in my breathing, and I allowed myself to feel the anxiety. My heart rate was a little elevated. I just allowed myself to feel it. And yes, it was painful. Of course, nobody wants to experience those emotions, but we all experience those emotions no matter who we are, because we're human and we have the ego brain to deal with. We have the primitive ego brain. So take the lesson from today. The lesson I'm trying to give you guys is that to step back, be the witness. And that's exactly what I was doing in that moment that I felt that extreme surge of anxiety come over me. I just let it flow. I stepped back, and because I knew that I know that I'm not that primitive mind, because when we die, what's left? It's not the primitive ego animal brain, it's our souls. So if we can step back and be the witness, then we can see that a lot of what we're feeling and imagining or whatever it is not real. And even if it is something that you're really experiencing in your life, you can step back from the emotion of it and be the witness and process the emotions so that they flow through you and out of you, instead of, you know, you're clenching like this and you're hanging on to all that stuff and you're trying to suppress it. You know, that's not a very healthy, it just gets worse over time anyway. So trusting, you know, being the witness will help you to trust more, to have more connection with your higher self, to have more connection with that part of you that is eternal, that is powerful, that is in its power. And I say it because the higher self part of you, the God source self of you, is not felt male or female. It is just God source energy. When you can connect with that and raise out of that, and the more you do this, the more you learn that trust process, that stepping back and being the witness and just letting it go and trusting, the better you'll get at it, and the more peace, love, joy you can bring to your life. But also you'll be more of a magnet, a vibrational magnet to everything that you really desire in life, because we all want the peace and the love and the joy and the money, and I mean, don't we all? And health. We all want all those things. So, yeah, that was my message for today. Just learning how to trust through being the witness. Yeah, I think that completes it. I hope that message was relatively understandable for most of you. I love you guys. Happy Friday. Please reach out to me if you want coaching. I can do anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. And yeah, just reach out to me. Oh, and my email is rachelkdonna1111@gmail.com. So I hope to hear from you. Love you guys. Bye.